Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Your friend is here again on our program, Read a Book Aloud with me. Thank you, everyone that has been part of this process, and thank you for coming along with us and participating in the whole process. It's been an enriching and fun-filled ninth day. Today is the ninth day of this program, and we've been able to explain a lot about the importance of reading, particularly read aloud a book with me. You would agree with me that reading aloud or read aloud is an important concept that we need to explore more. We need to understand why this is important, and we need to know why this is beneficiary to parents, to teachers, and to our children themselves. It is important that we practically put this into practice in our homes and in our neighborhood. Particularly now that we are home with our children, it is important that we read aloud a book with them. The more we read with them, remember we've said readers are leaders. The more we read with them, the more our children become readers, and the more we reduce learning poverty in our country, Nigeria. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have given you the theory behind this read aloud a book with me. The concept of balanced literacy theory, which is telling us about the importance of phonics, the importance of phonemic awareness, the importance of comprehension, reading fluently, reading accurately, understanding vocabulary, understand pronunciation, and how to sound words. If we use this theory the way it is and the explanation, then our children will be able to read aloud. And for teachers and parents that are going to use this approach, it is also important that we understand the theory behind it. It is important that we understand the balanced literacy theory, and we will be able to apply it. I also told us that it's important to understand the concept around learning poverty. The simple description of learning poverty is that 10-year-old should be able to read and comprehend a simple story. I pick that again. 10-year-old should be able to read and comprehend a simple story. I will leave you to do the assessment in your own community, in your own environment. How many 10-year-old can read in many communities in Nigeria, in many local governments in Nigeria, and in many states in Nigeria? I tell you from my own assessment, not many children at 10-year-old can read fluently in Nigeria. In fact, the last survey shows that about 56% of Nigerian children 10-year-old Nigerian children cannot read and comprehend simple story. And reading is a foundational skill. Reading is a foundational skill, and if 10-year-old cannot read and comprehend, then that is where we have the problem. I also remind you the report from World Bank last year, which says that many of our children are in school, but they are not learning. So what we are saying is that if children cannot read, if children cannot comprehend, then they will be in school and they will not be able to read. And this problem have been traced to inability to read at younger age. And this is why we are taking on this read aloud a book with me, particularly starting with children at younger age and teaching us simple techniques on how we can improve literacy and how we can improve learning. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've used a lot of strategy, we've used a lot of approaches, spanning from interactive reading, storytelling, pairwise reading, reading aloud, interactive, and different approaches from the 11th approaches we discussed on how to read aloud. Today, we will be taking on story. You will see our children read a story today, very important story that is important for all of us. And the title of the story today, My Hero is You. How kids can fight coronavirus COVID-19. You can see that this story today will be very interesting. Children themselves have got a role to play on how to fight COVID-19. It is not for us parents alone to fight it. We need a joint effort to fight this virus called COVID-19. And as we are home, we also need to enlighten our children on how to fight this COVID-19. They need to understand this, and this is why this book is specifically written. Remember that our World Book and Copyright Day is April 23rd. This book is going to be launched on that day. But for your listening pleasure and for your children to participate in this book at home, we are reading it to you today, and you will see some of those words. However, we are bringing out a major important concept in the balanced literacy theory, which is phonemic and phonological awareness. Phonemics and phonological awareness that is talking about how to recognize words and how to sound words. You will see the children that are going to read today, when they come across some of these difficult words, they will signify that they need more explanation around this, or they need the meaning, or they need to know more how to pronounce and how to sound these words. That is basically what phonemics awareness is talking about in the balanced literacy theory. And as we do that, we're also building the vocabulary of these children. You will see what they will do and how they will demonstrate that, so that we will understand that and we can also use it in our various homes. So please, as our usual approach, the children are ready now. They are ready to read with us, and I will be going to them now in the next 20 seconds. They are ready to read aloud with us and tell us the story, My Hero is You, how kids can fight COVID-19. Please come along with me and be part of this reading process. The children are ready now to read aloud with us. Thank you so much.
The story we are reading today is titled My Hero is You, How Kids Can Fight COVID-19 Coronavirus. Sarah's mom is our hero because she is the best mom and the best scientist in the world. But even Sarah's mom cannot find a cure for the coronavirus. What does COVID-19 look like? Sarah asked her mom. COVID-19, or the coronavirus, is so tiny we can't see it, said her mom. But it spreads in the coughs and sneezes of people who are sick. And when they touch people or things around them, people who are sick get a fever and they cough and can have some trouble breathing. So we can't fight it because we can't see it, Sarah asked. We can fight it, said Sarah's mom. That's why I need you to be safe, Sarah. The virus affects many kinds of people, and everyone can help us fight it. Children are special, and they can help too. You need to stay safe for all of us. I need you to be my hero. Sarah laid in bed that night and did not feel like a hero at all. She felt upset. She wanted to go to school, but her school was closed. She wanted to see her friends, but it was not safe. Sarah wanted the coronavirus to stop scaring her world. Heroes have superpowers, she said to herself, closing her eyes to sleep. What do I have? Suddenly, a gentle voice whispered her name in the darkness. Who is there? Sarah whispered back. What do you need to be a hero, Sarah? The voice asked her. I need a way to tell all the children in the world how to protect themselves so that they can protect everyone else, said Sarah. So what do you need me to be? The voice asked. I need something that can fly, something with a big voice and something that can help. With a whoosh, something amazing stepped into the moonlight. What are you? Gasped Sarah. I am Ariel, he said. I've never seen an Ariel before, said Sarah. Well, I've been here all along, said Ariel. I've come from your heart. If I have you, then I can tell all the children in the world about the coronavirus, said Sarah. I can be a hero. But wait, Ariel, is it safe to travel with the coronavirus around? Only with me, Sarah, said Ariel. Nothing can harm me when we are together. So Sarah jumped on Ariel's back, and together they soared out through her bedroom window into the night sky. They flew towards the stars and said hello to the moon. As the sun rose, they landed in a lovely desert by pyramids, where a small group of children were playing. The children crowded out in joy and waved at Sarah and her Ariel. Welcome, I am Salem, cried one of the boys. What are you doing here? Sorry, we can't come closer. We have to stay at least 1 meter away. That's why we are here, Sarah called back. I'm Sarah, and this is Ariel. Did you know that children can keep their neighbors, friends, parents, and grandparents safe from the coronavirus? We all need to wash our hands with soap and water, said Salem with a smile. We know, Sarah. We also cough into our elbows if we are sick, and we wave to people instead of shaking hands. We try to stay inside, but we live in a very crowded city. Not everybody is staying at home. Maybe I can help with that, said Ari. They can't see the coronavirus, but they can see me. Jump on, but please sit on both of my wings. They are at least 1 meter apart. Ariel flew into the sky with Salem and Sarah on both of his wings. He flew across the city and began to roar and sing. Salem cried out to the children in the cities, go tell your families we are safer inside. We can take care of each other best by staying at home. People were amazed by what they saw. They waved and agreed to go into their houses. Ariel soared high into the sky. Salem cried out in joy. Up there in the clouds, a plane flew by, and passengers looked out at them in awe. People will have to stop traveling soon, at least for now, said Salem. They are closing the borders across the world, and we should all stay where we are and with the people we love. So many things feel like they have changed, said Sarah. I get scared about it sometimes. It can feel scary and confusing when things are changing, Sarah, said Ariel. When I feel scared, I breathe very slowly and breathe out fire. Ariel blew out a huge fireball. How do you relax when you feel scared? Ariel asked them. I like to think about someone who makes me feel safe. Me too. I think of all the people who help me feel safe, like my grandparents, said Salem. I miss them. I can't give them a hug because I could give them the coronavirus. We usually see them every weekend, but not now because we have to keep them safe. Can you call them? Sarah asked her friend. Oh yes, said Salem. They call me every day, and I tell them about the things we are doing at home. It makes me feel better, and it makes them feel better too. It is normal to miss people we love that we can't see right now, said Aaron. It shows how much we care. Would it make you feel better to meet other heroes? Yes, please, Sarah and Salem cried back. Great, my friend Sasha has a very special superpower, said Ariel. Let's go. And they soared down to earth and landed by a small village. A girl was outside the house picking flowers. When she saw Ariel and the children sitting on his wings, she laughed. Ariel, she cried, we have to stay at least 1 meter apart, so I will throw you a hug. What are you all doing here? I felt your hug when you told me that, Sasha, said Ariel. I love how we can use words to show we care and actions too. I wanted my friends to learn about your superpower. What is my superpower? Said Sasha. Since someone in your family got sick, you are staying at home to make sure you don't share the coronavirus with anyone else, said Ariel. Yes, it's my dad, and he's staying in his bedroom until he gets completely better, said Sasha. But it's not so bad. We play games, cook, spend time in our garden, and have meals together. My brothers and I touch our toes and dance. We read books and I can keep learning because sometimes I miss school. Staying home felt weird at first, but now it feels normal. That's not always easy, Sasha, said Ariel. You are finding ways to have fun and get along with your loved ones at home. That makes you my hero. Do you ever fight with your family? Asked Salem. We fight sometimes, said Sasha. We have to be extra patient and extra understanding, and even quicker to say I'm sorry. That is a real superpower because it can make ourselves and others feel better. I also need a little time alone. I love dancing and singing on my own, and I can call my friends sometimes. But Ariel, what about people who are far from home or do not have a house? Asked Sarah. That's a great question, Sarah, said Ariel. Let's go and find out. And so they said goodbye to Sasha and set off once more. The air grew warmer as they landed on an island surrounded by the sea. They saw a camp full of people. One girl saw them and waved from a distance. Hi, Ariel. I'm so happy to see you again. She called out. We are trying to stay at least 1 meter away, so I'll talk to you from here. But I'd love you to meet my friends. My name is Layla. Hi, Layla. I'm Sarah, and this is Silent. Sarah called back. It sounds like you're trying to protect yourself from the coronavirus. What else are you doing? We are washing our hands with soap and water. Layla called back. Do you also cough into your elbow? Asked Salem. Can you show us how? Layla called back. So Salem showed them. We are all trying to be brave, but I'm worried about something, said Layla. Can I talk about it with you? I heard someone got sick and died, and it made me very afraid. Is it true people can die from coronavirus? Ariel breathed a big sigh and sat on his enormous bottom. Yes, little heroes, it's strange, said Ariel. Some people don't feel sick at all, but some people can be very sick and some might die. That's why we all have to be especially careful with older people and those with other illnesses because they tend to get more sick. Sometimes when we are feeling very afraid or unsafe, it can help to imagine a safe place in our mind. Would you like to try this with me? They all said yes, and so Ariel asked the children to close their eyes and imagine a place where they feel safe. Focus on a memory or a time when you felt safe, said Ariel. He then asked them what they could see, what they could feel, and what they could smell in their safe place. He asked if there was anyone special they would like to invite into their safe place and what they might talk about together. You can go to your safe place whenever you feel sad or afraid, said Ariel. This is your superpower, and you can share it with your friends and family. And remember that I care about you, and many people do. That will help too. Layla said, we can all care for each other. That's right, Layla, said Ariel. We can care for each other wherever we are. Would you like to come with us on our last journey? Layla decided to travel with Ariel and her new friends. Sarah was glad Layla joined them because she knew that sometimes we need to support each other. They flew quietly without words, but Layla knew her new friends cared a lot about her. Snowy mountains slowly came into view, and Ariel landed in a small town. A few children were playing by a stream. Ariel, one of them cried, waving to him. Hello, Kim, said Ariel. Everyone, I wanted you to meet some friends of mine who have had the coronavirus and got better. What was it like? Salem asked. I was coughing and felt too hot sometimes. I was also really tired and didn't want to play for a few days, said Kim. But I slept a lot and my family took care of me. Some of our parents and grandparents had to go to the hospital. Nurses and doctors were very kind to them, and people in our community helped us at home. After a few weeks, we were okay again. I'm Kim's friend, said one of the other children. Just because Kim had the coronavirus, we didn't stop being friends. Even though I could not see him, I never stopped caring about him, and we are happy that we can play together again. Sometimes the most important thing we can do as friends is to protect each other, said Ariel. Even if it means staying away from each other for a while. We can do these things for each other, said Layla. And one day we'll be able to play again and go back to school like we used to, said Siren. It was time to go home and time for Sarah to say goodbye to her new friend. They promised each other that they would never forget their adventure together. Sarah felt sad because they might not see each other for a while, but she felt better when she remembered what King's friend had said. Just because you can't see people, it doesn't mean you stop loving them. Ayo dropped them all back to their homes and waited for Sarah to fall asleep before he left. Can we do the same tomorrow? Sarah asked him. No, Sarah, it's time for you to be with your family now, said Ario. Remember our story. You can keep those you love safe by washing your hands and staying at home. I am never far away. You can always be with me when you go to a safe place. You're my hero, she whispered. You're my hero too, Sarah. You are a hero to all those who love you, he said. Sarah fell asleep, and when she woke the next day, Ariel was gone. So she went to her safe place to talk to him, then drew everything they had seen and learnt on their adventure. She ran to her mom with her drawing to tell her the news. We can all help people be safe, Mom, she said. I met so many heroes on my adventure. Oh, Sarah, you are right, said her mom. They have many heroes keeping people safe from coronavirus, like wonderful doctors and nurses. But you remind me that we can all be heroes every day. And my biggest hero is you. The end. This passage is talking about a girl named Sarah. After she talked to her mom about coronavirus, then her mom, then she was now asking her mom how everybody can help protect people from coronavirus. And when in the night when she was trying to sleep, her friend Ariel came and took her around the world to some places where she learned lessons and she made new friends. All of them told her and talked to her about coronavirus. And the biggest one she learned of all was when she went to the mountains and King's friend told her that even if you don't see people, you must not stop loving them. And then next day when she woke up, she saw that Ariel was gone. So she went to her safe place and drew everything that happened and showed her mom. And she told her mom um what Kim's friend said. And then her mom told her that she's her hero. So what are the different ways that what are the different that help to prevent coronavirus? By washing your hands frequently. Okay. Taylor.
By staying at home.
Fire. By coughing in your elbow and washing your hands. Um, thank you.
Okay, thank you, children. You've seen the story for today, the story that our children read, the importance of children also knowing about the coronavirus, the COVID-19. From that story, you could see how we can transmit the story, how we can pass on the message of coronavirus, how our children can know more about the coronavirus, how they can be able to know what to do. And this is the power of story, and this is the importance of one of the main benefits of Read Aloud with me. Technically, let me quickly go through. If you want to do this type of activity at home, one example of Read Aloud, if you want to read a story with children at home, either with your own children or with other children, it is important that you let them know the title of the story. So for today, the title of our story is My Hero is You. How can kids fight coronavirus COVID-19? So all the children that we read with today, they know the title of that story. And also, it is important for them to also begin to look out for some words that are a bit complex for them. And you could see some of those words that were a bit complex for them that they wrote down and they let us know so that after the reading, they can then pick their dictionary or their teacher or you as the parent that is reading with them can then show them the meaning of such words. Like they came across words like bedroom, bedroom. And what we help them to do is to use the theory that we are using, which is the balanced literacy theory. And one of the main concepts of the balanced literacy theory is that children will learn how to send words, how to recognize words, and how to pronounce words. Now, some of the children in this reading process today are in basic 3 and basic 4, and they learn words like themselves. So, using the phonemic awareness, we have to help them break these words into bit by bit that would then be easy for them to pronounce. For instance, themselves. So what we did was to break this into 2. Themselves. Themselves. Then they can now pronounce it together and be able to pronounce themselves. Another words they came across today from that passage is protects. 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 So what we also did was to break that into 2. Protects. 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 So if they can be able to pronounce the 2 words like that, they can then make a complete word from that. Another word they came across is bedroom. Bedroom. So we also did the same thing. We broke it to bed, room. Bed, room. Bed, room. They can now pronounce it bedroom. They also came across superpower. Superpower. So we broke it down to 2. Super power. Super power. Super power. Superpower. So it is important that as parents, we also recognize this concept of phonemics awareness. How to recognize words, how to sound it, and how to pronounce such words. So when we are reading a story or reading aloud a book with our children at home, we should be able to recognize some of those words and then ask them to go look it up or help them to go look it up in the dictionary so that they will be able to know the meaning, how to sound such words, and how to pronounce those words. So now you've seen 3 importance or benefits of read aloud there. It helps children to know and recognize words. It helps them to pronounce words. It also helps them to know the meaning of words. So by the time we do this with children, what are we doing? We are helping to improving their comprehension. So this is why reading aloud or read aloud is very important because it can help for children to know how to comprehend. Remember the World Bank concepts. Learning poverty. Learning poverty, ability of 10-year-old to be able to read and comprehend a simple story. In fact, our research has shown that the major reason why a lot of our kids are in school and they cannot learn is because either we as parents or in school have not supported them to read. If we support them, particularly we use reading aloud concepts, I bet you, even at age 3, our children should be able to read fluently. Remember I told you when we started that we're bringing some research into this concept now. We are bringing a lot of M&E concepts where we are developing indicators that you can even use at home to measure the reading ability of your kids. And a lot of the indicators that we can measure. One of the indicators we can measure is fluency. We can measure how fluent our children are at reading. Then we can then begin to look at the sub-indicators that we can measure. For instance, are they fluent? Are they not fluent? Are they fluent? Are they very fluent? Are they exceptionally fluent? So we can use that simple Likert scale to be able to grade our children at home and in school. So this is really very important. So number one, the children should be able to know the title of the story they want to read. They should be able to recognize some of the words that they cannot pronounce and bring that out. Then the reading itself should be made fun. You can see how they were enjoying themselves. And this issue about COVID-19 is a latest issue that everybody must know around the world. I bet you these children now knows more about this COVID-19. They can now tell you about COVID-19. They can tell you about the symptoms. In fact, they can tell you how to participatory support people that have this COVID-19. You saw when they told, when one of them told was asking, how can you prevent and protect yourself against COVID-19? And you saw that the children were able to give some of those things that can be done. We even saw in the story when somebody was sick and was isolated at home. Despite the fact that he was isolated, the family of that person was still providing the required support. And the children that were regarded as heroes in this book, you saw a lot of the activities that they were doing. What they were doing to making sure that they explain this concept to their fellow children. They were explaining the symptoms of the coronavirus and how children can protect themselves and how they can support themselves. They brought in issues around social protection, what families can do, what neighbors can do, what colleagues can do, what friends can do if you hear that your friend is infected with coronavirus. So it is important that children know about all this when they are doing read aloud program. Also, the issues about the reader should be able to pause when he or she gets to full stop or when he or she gets to a period or when some of the children are asking questions. For instance, when they got to some of those difficult words, the children put up their hands to say they need more explanation about this. And the reader paused a bit so that they can look at the dictionary and pronounce these words and then look at the meaning of this word. For instance, when they go to superpower, what's the meaning of superpower or the bedroom? Particularly the kid in basic 3 was the one asking about all this so that she can understand some of this. So the element of phonetics awareness was brought in, and the element of pronunciation was brought in. The element of vocabulary was also brought in there. It's also important after reading to summarize. We saw our reader summarizing the whole story to the children. She was able to summarize, tell them about the COVID-19, the symptoms, how you can identify somebody that is infected, and what can be done by somebody that is infected, and the role that neighbors and colleagues and family members can play to ensuring that they support whoever has been infected. She ended the story by asking the children questions. It is important when you finish a story to also ask the children questions to help you assess the level of learning and gauge what they've learned. For a lot of us teachers, we know why this is important, that after finishing the lesson, you should be able to evaluate your class and be able to gauge what your children have learned in line with the learning objectives or the learning benchmark for that lesson. So simply, if we look at the learning benchmark for this story, is at the end of the day, children should be able to describe the symptoms of COVID-19. They should be able to enumerate some of the ways that we can prevent ourselves against COVID-19, which at the end of the day, they were able to do. So from there, we can gauge and assess the level of understanding of our children. So these are some of the basic elements that when you're reading the story with your children at home, you should be able to put this into consideration so that they can understand whatever story and they can comprehend. Remember that that is the World Bank concept of learning poverty. At least 10-year-old should be able to read and comprehend a simple story. So if we assume that this story today is a simple story, the question is, did our children, were they able to read and comprehend it? I leave you to judge that. And I'm going to send this to all of us after this reading so that we can also read this with our kids at home. By the time we read this with them, we are educating them more about the COVID-19, how to recognize it, and how to respond to it. So friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen that are participating from home, thank you so much for participating today. Today is our 9th day on Read a Book Aloud with me. You've seen why Read Aloud a Book with me is so important. You've learned about the theory we are using, the balanced literacy theory, and you've also learned about the learning poverty. How can we reduce learning poverty? So why we are doing this program is to help our children improve how to read and also to reduce learning poverty in our country. I hope that you will try some of these techniques we are sharing at home and you will give us some of your own ideas, some of your suggestions. So once again, thank you everyone. Tomorrow is another day. By 5:30, we would try to also read aloud tomorrow and come up with one of the other new concepts and the approaches that we started with 9 days ago when we started this. So once again, I remain your friend, Kabiru Abbas, the initiator of Read a Book Aloud with me. We said that we are building a movement on the importance of read aloud. And we hope that for all of you that are joining us today, you will also participate in this and also be part of this movement. Thank you so much, everyone. My friend Francis Ogunbiton, thank you so much. Ibrahim Osho, thank you. Oshola Olua, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Edwards, thank you so much. Osho Habiba, thank you. Tosin Adebayo, thank you. Ogoshuku Pauline, thank you. Oh, you say you are washing your hand and learning. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. God bless you too. Ayodele Okuyera, thank you so much. Oh, my uncle is also watching from Iwokwin live. Kasim Morofu, thank you so much. Sorry, sir, I will get back to you after this program. Ayobami Alabi, thank you so much for participating. Oh, my colleague and my friend, IFP fellow, Toyin Aderemi, thank you so much, my dear. Thanks so much. Osho Abiba, thank you. Oh, Captain J, Jamiu Badejo, thank you. Thank you, Tabitha. Tabitha has been regular every day. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Sheyifumi Otukelu, thank you so much. Moliki Oshibojo, our brother, thank you so much, sir, from Waterside. I appreciate, sir. Thank you, Reverend Duru, thank you so much. Oh, my colleague, my friend, Sune from Benue, thank you. Oh, Mr. Solomon Edet, all the way from Anambra, thank you. Madam Oyinye, thank you so much, all the way from Cross River. My big brother, Frank Ade Mola, thank you so much, Mr. Francis. Oh, my friend, Mr. Ajide, all the way from Kwara, thank you. Roti Mila Sisi, thank you so much. Everyone that has been part of this process. Read aloud is fun, is productive, is impactful. So please put it into practice in your home. Now that we are home, we've got that opportunity to do this with our kids and make it fun so that we can help them learn more. So once again, thank you so much. I look forward to meeting all of you tomorrow. Please come along tomorrow so that you can participate. Thank you so much. Until I come your way again tomorrow, I remain your friend Kabiru Abbas. Bye, and greetings from all our readers. Thank you so much.